finish, actually, because I'd actually rather use that time and just go back to the room, rest, close my eyes, get ready for the next game. And I do say that. Also, I have refused to analyze just because I lost. Confession
No, which is
time.
a valid reason. I mean, you're upset. You're allowed to rest and to recover on your own. And sometimes
Yeah.
the last thing you want is your opponent rubbing in how much more they saw. you know.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's just an exercise in misery just to go over your game. You just think, okay, I'm not ready for it just now. And then afterwards, you kind of do talk to them about the game. And here comes
Oh,
C4 on the board.
okay. My
And
prediction
now
aging pretty well, if I may say so myself.
Bishop D4. Are we going to
God,
see
Vincent.
King D4? Are we going to see F4? They all win.
We're gonna see Bishop D4. I've played
Bishop
Wesley,
D4.
I think 6 or 7 times in classical chess. I think of all the super GMs, I've played him the most. I think I have the best understanding of what makes him tick. Wesley loves piece domination. He loves moves like Bishop D4 that just bring the hammer down on his opponent. But watch me say all of this, and then he goes for your recommendation F4.
No,
Bishop D4 on the
Bishop
board.
D4 on the board. You won the bet.
Let's go,
Dania. And C3, King D3. Come on, you got to catch that pawn.
King D3.
Keep it under lock and key.
Next step.
Very good. Very good.
Very methodical by Wesley. Doesn't rush. Just takes his time. I can guarantee you he's recalculating the line with King D3, King D5, and H5, making sure, because the knight, it can be a very tricky piece. Sometimes the knight can stop a passed pawn with a check to the king, but with a knight on A4 and the king on C2, you can't even get a check in 2 moves. And there he goes, King C2, King D3.
Yeah. In fact, talking about that configuration, when a king is diagonally placed across the next to the knight, as in 1 square away, knight cannot give a check. It's very, very difficult. And here it comes. King goes to D5. Pawn is going to push to H5.
You can take on C3 here, but that would be highly inadvisable because that pawn endgame is probably a draw. So Wesley, one final pass through.
But not H5, necessary. Insignificant. Just go for gold, Wesley.
Do it. Come
H5. on. He knows.
He does. And there's no other move, actually, because otherwise Black will actually go C2. So at this point, you're, as you said yesterday, in for a penny, in for a pound. You've got to do it.
Absolutely.
Gotta do it,
yeah, he's just taking a moment just to recheck his thoughts. I mean, there is a fail-safe, you can make a move like F4 because C2 will be met by Bishop E3, but you don't want to do that. H5.
No. I'll tell you what he's probably double checking. I think he's not even checking C2. It's more he's making sure that after H5 trade and King E6, he can actually trap the knight, because this King C2, King B3 pattern is pretty darn unique, but C2 by Vincent. And we got it. This is exactly how the game is going to end.
Yeah. King takes pawn.
Right. And H6. And that's going to be that.
It is.
All right, Wesley.
Last ditch attempt by Vincent, and he snaps off that pawn, and King takes bishop. Are we going to see the game continue? Are we going to see a resignation? And it's ready. Yes, it's over. Vincent resigns. Wesley takes his first point in Tata Steel Masters.
Wow. I mean, just wow. Wesley is relentless. The guy never quits. Guy had a very lackluster start, but this was a vintage Wesley game. Pressure all game long. From the very first moves, there was a point at which we thought Vincent held, but Vincent losing in a very similar manner to his game against Aronian yesterday. Just when we think he stabilized the situation, he makes a huge mistake, missing, I don't even know what, giving away the A4 pawn for no. And the German youngster Yovi this is just a sign of some really, really difficult form. He's going to have to step it up in a big way if he wants to avoid one of those disaster tournaments.
Yeah. It's just it doesn't seem like he's making too many mistakes, but when the mistake does happen, it seems to be colossal. I mean, we saw that yesterday in his game against Aronian, and we saw a big blunder in the end game, and now we saw the same. They were game changers. And there we see today's results, and we see Vincent shaking his head. Yeah, he